I am correct, there should be Teyvat, Abyss, khaenri'ah, Ley Lines, Celestia, Irminsul Tree, Constellations, Archons, and 3 Moon Sisters. Hello everyone, my name is Ekamin. As this is my first video, I thought of letting you all have a peek inside my head and explain a little theory about this thing. You must be screaming inside your heads right now, saying, "What the hell is this?" Just hang in there for a moment and I'll explain everything for you. First of all, this is my representation of world of Genshinimpact. It doesn't look very world-like in today's standards, but if you're familiar with Norse mythology, you might have come across something like this. So let's get started with the basics. Teyvat. Before we get started, a quick disclaimer. This whole theory is made up of mine and other theories combined. And I don't read lore like a maniac or go research every single mythology that hints Genshin. Therefore, take everything here with a grain of salt. Teyvat is the most basic thing in my entire map, but I like to call it overworld because it's in the overworld and there's ley lines, trees, rocks, water bodies, clouds, animals and domains. Nothing out of the ordinary, to be honest. You might know every corner better than me. Think of Teyvat as the main monitor of your computer. Then you'll understand a bit. Next up, let's go a little underground and find the Irminsul tree, or what I like to call the world tree. On the surface, it's inside domains, connect to leyline outcrops, but ultimately this tree carries the entire world on its branches and roots. I specifically put Teyvat on the branches because it's the only part of this world we have seen so far. There are other reasons, but I won't take your time explaining those. Also, this tree carries ley line veins throughout the entire world, like a real tree does. On the side note, I think these trees in Mount Hoyolab's foot and Dragon's Spine are also part of it too, but don't count me on it. Then there's the Nightmare Hall of free-to-plays and Playground of Whales, Spiral Abyss. You love it or hate it, it's important to the theory. In my depiction, there are 2 sides to the abyss. 11 floors down to the middle, 11 floors up to the underworld. Actually, it doesn't matter which way is up or down. And more on underworld later. You may ask, what happened to floor 12? Good question. After 1.6, floor 11 and 12 are the same, but now only floor 11 has the abyssal moon visible on it. My theory is that because floor 12 is harder for some players, they removed floor 12 canonically. This is the part where it's going to be a little hypothetical and less theory, but once I explain everything, you'll understand it. Abyssal Moon and the Kingdom of Darkness. If you have seen the Battle Pass cutscene, you might have heard of the Kingdom of Darkness. I think the black fortress you see here on floor 11 is this so-called Kingdom of Darkness, where the Genesis Pearl is housed and protected by the Ouroboros. Also, you can see the Abyssal Moon that is no longer present in floor 12 in floor 11. Another thing, if you look up while in here, a whirlpool-like thing is on the roof. My theory is that after defeating the Spiral Abyss, we can go to the other side of the Abyss from this whirlpool and fight the underworld side of Abyss to enter the underworld. Khaenri'ah and the other continents, aka the underworld. This is kind of confusing, but I'll explain piece by piece. As you can see, there are 5 paths to the underworld, and one of them is Khaenri'ah. The other 4 paths don't have names yet, but not like khaenri'ah, they are made up of entirely one element. I came up with this 5-world theory because every domain has a petrified tree and the petrified tree has 5 rings on it. So I assumed there are 5 different continents somewhere else in the world. Then I remembered there are only 5 types of domains that use resin. The 2 weapon enhancement domains, 2 talent book domains and artifact domains. Forsaken Drift, aka Mondstadt book domain, is entirely made up of ice. Cecilia Garden, aka Mondstadt weapon domain, has water everywhere. Taishan Mansion, aka Liu book domain, is a lava pit. The hidden place of Lin Shan formula, aka Liu weapon domain, has lightning crystals and tornadoes everywhere. All these have different elements, including Animo as air, Geo as structures, and Dendro as the petrified tree itself. But artifact domains are different. They have no elements present in the surroundings and clearly have more advanced structures compared to the other 4. And there are khaenri'ah runes everywhere, including the full domain mural. And another thing I noticed is that when the difficulty of the artifact domain increases, the surrounding is darker and the moon is out. This means when the moon is out, the domain gives out more results. I'm not sure which moon this is, but that's for another time. Every artifact domain is similar, except for one. That's the Dragon's Mind domain. My theory is that the Dragon's Mind domain is somewhere underground in khaenri'ah and maybe belong to a previous civilization that was wiped out just like khaenri'ah, but ages ago. You can see this using the signs like no walls are surrounding the challenge arena, khaenri'ah runes are not anywhere to be found, the torches are unlit, and the domain mural behind the petrified tree is sunken into the ground, indicating it's been abandoned much earlier than the others. Next up, we got the sun and the moon. There is nothing big here to be honest, except the sun and the moon are orbiting around the world, like our ancestors thought they did back in the day. This is because the moon has no lunar cycle like our moon does. And to do this, the moon should emit its own light and orbit around the world. I personally deny the theory that says all moon sisters killed each other, but more on that on a future video. Finally, we are at the last part of my world of Genshinimpact, Celestia. Celestia is above the sun and the moon. If you look at the screen right now, the moon passes over Celestia. Therefore, we can say Celestia is above the moon and therefore also the sun. If you look closely, you can see I have marked blue dots on the imaginary circle surrounding the world. My theory is that the stars are all in the same orbit, so they could form constellations for every single person in the game, either dead or alive. Now that I have explained everything piece by piece, let me explain how everything connects with each other. I'll be using MS Paint because it's easier for me and I hope you don't mind it. First, there is the Irminsul tree. It is connected to every ground in the world, except for Celestia. I find it interesting how the 2 Chinese servers are named after Irminsul and Celestia. The tree carries memories, souls, and resources throughout the entire world, and we can access these resources through ley line outcrops. But domains are not in Teyvat. They are just doorway portals to the other continent in the underworld. 2 forgeries and 2 book domains connect to the 4 continents with elements, and artifact domains connect to khaenri'ah. Then there is the spiral abyss, where you can clear down 11 floors and get to the kingdom of darkness, or the portal to the underworld. If you go through it, you get to the underworld. I think I explained Kingdom of Darkness well previously, so no need to do that again. And then there is the Abyss Moon, which gives blessings each 2 weeks to help fight the Abyss. After that, there is the Sun and the Moon, which orbits around the world. I'll go in depth on the Moon theory in a different video. Above that is Celestia, locked on Teyvat. If I draw a line between up and down of this world, we can differentiate between the constellations of Teyvat souls and underworld souls. When a person dies in Teyvat, their body erodes and their soul travels through the Irminsul tree and get reincarnated in either Teyvat or underworld. The constellations of the souls that are yet to be reincarnated are accumulated in the middle of this tree. That's why we can see a lot of galaxies in floor 11 of the spiral abyss. And that's how my depiction of Genshinimpact world works. So if you have watched any other Genshin theory videos, you might have come across similar theories to this. And that's because I was inspired to make this world from another content creator's works, namely domain theories and false sky theories by Ashikai. I'm very sorry if I am butchering your name. I'll leave a link to her channel in the description below, including some other YouTubers who explain lore and theory much better than me. So go check them out. And that's how the world of Genshinimpact works inside my imagination. But remember this, everything I said throughout this video could be debunked in a few hours when the live stream goes live. Anyway, thank you very much for sticking with me to the end in this scuffed, poorly edited first video. I hope to talk about few more theories I have in mind in a future video. So if you like this theory, leave a like, comment if you have any other weird, wonderful theories, and subscribe if you want to see more wacky theories like this.